In this presentation, we will continue on to part 17 of our comprehensive partnership problem, this time recording an M1 adjustment related to meals. Here we are on form 1065. We're going to scroll down to page 5 of 1065, and page 5 of 1065, we just want to verify that we are in balance before we make any adjustments. It looks like we're in balance. That looks good. Total assets equal liabilities plus the equity. Now we're going to be considering the meals. So you'll recall that meals is one of those things that it changed recently. So you had meals and entertainment. So you want to be able to look up, what qualifies as meals, but typically still we have that 50% rule with relation to the meals, which is going to result in an M1 adjustment. Now note, if I go back up top, the meals are usually going to be recorded down here in the other deductions, and that's where we put it. However, we put the full amount of the 1,600 rather than half, noting that we're going to have to go back to it and adjust it as we marked here on our Excel worksheet. So we're now considering the meals up top for the full amount. Now we're going to have to make that M1 adjustment related to the meals. So we can do that by manually putting in the M1 adjustment into the system, but most software actually has another meals input screen that kind of does the M1 for you. So what we'll do is we'll use that. I'm gonna take the meals out of the input screen that we put it in and put it into the meals designated input screen, which will basically create the M1 for us. So if we go back into the data input and we go into the deductions, so we're in the deductions and we scroll down, we see this meals section. We have the meals section, meals in full, and typically you have the 50% deduction. That's typically where you put the meals. However, we didn't put it there. We went down and we put it down here in the full amount in the meals down here because it was messing us up when we were first trying to start and tie us out. So you could do our adjustment just like we did before. You could say, all right, what if I put an M1 down here just to see the journal entry that happens? And I'm going to remove this 1600 just to be very transparent with it. I started there and now I'm going to remove it. So I'm negating that 16. I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to go up top and I'm going to say, okay, what happens if I put this information in this number, the full 1600? Most software will do what this software will do and actually take half of that as a deduction on the tax return and create the M1 for you. So let's see if that is indeed the case. We're going to go up top. We're going to go to the forms and we're going to go to the first page. Now, if we take a look at the first page, then if I go to the statements, now within meals, I have two meals. One's at there for the 1006, but then it's been negated down here below. Now, note, you probably don't want to file the return this way. Once you figure out what's going on, then you can take away your notes here, at least the notes that are going to be part of the tax return. So I have these two cancel out, and now I only have the 800 in meals. So there's the 800 that's left, so it took half of it. So it cut it in half for us as we put it in that new input screen. Now, it should have then recorded somewhere else, given the fact that it took half of the data input. That should be on page 5. So if we go to page 5 and go to the M1, there's the other side. There's the 800 on the other side. So it completed the M1 for us, and that keeps us back in balance. So we're back in balance here. Let's see if we can reflect that same thing on our Excel sheet. So let's go to our Excel sheet and see the journal entry. We're going to say this is going to be another tax journal entry as opposed to a journal entry for adjusting journal entry. We're going to put in a note, and this is going to be a tax. So adjust 50% of meals for M1 adjustment. Probably could have worded that better. So we're going to credit this, and then the other side is going to be in the M1. So there's a debit here. We need to make it go down. I'm going to do the opposite thing to it. I'll put it on the bottom. We're going to credit the meals, and then the other side is going to be an M1 adjustment down below. So the other side I'm going to say is down here. That's going to be a non-deductible meals M1 adjustment. It's going to be for half of the meals of the 16. So I'm going to put the 800 here and 800 here. There's our debit. There's our credit. Let's post this out now. I'll post the meals first since it's up top. We're going to be here in Q30. So we're then Q30. I'm going to say equals. Scroll down to that credit of 800. That brings our balance down to 800. The other side being in the M1. So if we scroll down here, we are in cell Q46. We're going to say equals. Scroll back up to that credit for the meals. I'm sorry, this will be the debit for the meals. And there it is. So that puts us in here. So we credited taking down the meals up top to 800. Then we debited down here. Now that's going to just adjust our ending balance numbers in terms of the cash. So we stay the same for the book value. The tax value here is going to be not including. We're at the sales down to not including the Schedule K and M1s. And then we're going to say here's our Schedule K adjustments to get to this number. Let's see if that then ties into our tax return. Page 1, at the bottom of page 1, we have the 287,800. Back to here, we have the 287,800. That looks good. We're tied out there. We're going to go back to the tax return. Let's take a look at page 4, good old page 4. And that's going to be our Schedule K. Let's take out the trusty calculator with the Schedule K. We've got the 287,800 plus the 1500 plus the 750 plus the 1350 minus the 5,000. The 5,000, that gives us the 286,400. So if I go back here, we see the 286,400, which is the difference of those Schedule K adjustments, which we saw here. That's what I was adding, or subtracting and adding and subtracting. Now we're on page 5, where we are back in balance, and we're considering this number and this number. So the 355,278 should match here, the 355,278, and then we see the 286,400 should match over here, the 286,400. Although we did that in kind of a two-step method, the book value, and then we have basically the first page of the tax return, and then we have the Schedule K adjustments to get here. If you want to get there in one method, then you can make your adjustments down here. I'm going to move this ending M1 down, because we need one more adjustment down here, because this was an M1 adjustment for the this item. I'm going to say negative of that number and fix our formula. So I'm going to be adding all these up, negative minus the positives, and that's going to give us our 286,400 matches this 286,400. These adjustments then matching these numbers that we see in the M1 adjustment. And so you can see that recalculation in two different ways. I'll go ahead and underline this one. We can do a little formatting here. Okay, so that number ties out. If we go back over here, everything looks good.